If it's bull or bear, I don't care. It's quite a rough ride, just like life. But I'm kind of patient, 'cause only time will tell. It's gonna go up, so you better stay calm. And crow your coins, crow your coins. You gotta crow your coins. Crow your coins, crow your coins. Crow your coins, crow your coins. You gotta crow your coins. Crow your coins, crow your coins. Crow your coins, crow your coins. You gotta crow your coins. Crow your coins, crow your coins. Crow your coins, crow your coins. You gotta crow your coins.
What's up, everybody? I'm the Crypto Crow. Welcome. It's 12:53. I decided to go a little early today because this might run a little long. What's up, everybody? Chris A. first in the house. David Alba. Crypto Thieves. What's up, man? Crypto Justin. There's so many of you guys popping in. What's up? Tyson Larson. What program did you use to make the infographics? I used Adobe After Effects. Adobe After Effects. Yo, what's up? Come on, man. Yo, man. So what's up, Snake? And we are live. Yes, we are. Good afternoon. What's up, Graham H? So, looking at Bitcoin, it looks like we're wicking down to the 13 EMA. So we'll see if that holds, if we bounce off of that, or if we break through it. I'm not sure what to expect. I know Market God gave us the sell trigger a little while ago. This is a daily chart that we're looking at above my head. And man, I'm telling you guys what, I discovered this article. We're going to dive deep into who Satoshi Nakamoto is. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I really think this is legit. I really, really think this is legit. I read through the whole thing. I don't normally read entire articles, but I'm reading this shit. I'm going to go through all of it because it just all makes sense. It all makes sense. So first thing I want to show you guys is, I'm not going to read this whole thing. A drug kingpin ran his empire from a laptop, then snitched on his own assassins. The South African national helped E4M, or encryption for the masses, in the 1990s software that, along with hard disk encryption program TrueCrypt that followed, promised to make it easier for online sleuths to avoid detection from prying eyes, at least for a little while. Basically, this guy, I don't even know where to begin with this. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to start here. Okay. Guys, I'm telling you, this shit is going to get, the rabbit hole for this is going to get insane. Real quick, are you still bullish on Celsius? Yeah, I am still bullish on Celsius. I think it's like most of these projects, they're going to be long-term holds. I'm pretty sure Celsius is getting they're listing on Liquid Exchange, I guess. So we'll see what happens, but I'm going to be doing some altcoin stuff here soon, and I'm sure Celsius is going to be one of the videos that I do this week. I'm probably even going to have Alex on. So here we go. We're going to dive into this because there's so much to it, and I want to make sure that I cover it all and that I, let you guys formulate your own opinions. Hit the like button for this video, guys. I want this to be a big one. I want everybody to see this. I really do. New evidence suggests Satoshi Nakamoto is Paul Solotshi, the creator of encryption software E4M and TrueCrypt. Okay. So my initial theory was that the NSA created this. That's kind of being changed after reading through this whole thing. Paul Solotshi Calder LBRY, a 46-year-old criminal mastermind, is the creator of encryption software E4M and TrueCrypt. The cryptography encryption software Satoshi Nakamoto likely used to lock up his 1 million Bitcoin. An author of an uncannily similar manifesto to the one in Bitcoin's white paper in 1998. But that's not all. Paul Solotshi employs his similar spelling and language in his writing style to that of Satoshi. He's interested in gambling. Bitcoin's initial code had a poker client included. And what's more, he's been in jail since 2012. That's probably the reason why his 1 million Bitcoin hasn't moved. I'm going to zoom in a bit. On top of that, the documents included in this article show a connection of Craig Wright to Paul Solotshi. Sound like a 007 movie. Let's start from the beginning. I'm telling you guys, it's going to get deep. Grab some coffee. Grab some coffee. This will probably end up being a really good audio podcast for those of you that like to listen to these videos driving to work or while you're working. Because this is probably going to be a little long one. It's probably going to be longer than 30 minutes. I'm just letting you guys know now. Let's start from the beginning. The identity of Satoshi Nakamoto, the pseudonymous and enigmatic creator of Bitcoin, is perhaps the most enduring mysteries of modern times. It's long been speculated as to who he, she, or they are, but to no avail. The long-standing mystery remains. There have been a number of theories and candidates as to who Nakamoto really is, some of whom are self-nominated like Craig Wright, the man known as Fake Toshi for his bold claims. Wright has courted controversy by claiming to be the creator of Bitcoin, which has led to multiple lawsuits and court hearings. One such court case, Klayman versus Wright, has surfaced new evidence in the form of a Wikipedia page which was not redacted, which oddly enough points to a new Satoshi candidate, and it's not Wright. Who's the new Satoshi Nakamoto candidate? The newfound Satoshi candidate is Paul Solotshi, a 46-year-old former cartel boss, drug smuggler, arms dealer, informant to the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, and a genius programmer. As seen from LBRY's Wikipedia page, the man lived an eventful life, and he did. I went through it. I'm like, holy cow. How has nobody ever heard of this dude before? This dude was like an international boss, like just an international just kingpin. Like, I mean, the man lived an eventful life with a career that included gold smuggling, precious metals mining, logging, land deals, drug and arms trafficking, money laundering, assassinations, encryption software development, and more. Does this guy not already sound like the perfect and most ideal candidate for someone who would have created the Bitcoin algorithm? LBRY is currently in U.S. custody for ordering the assassinations of 6 people. I wonder why he's the NSA's fall guy. That's funny. You never know. Could be. I mean, you can do interviews from prison. So why wouldn't this guy come out and be like, hey, I'm the real guy and this is the deal and this is how I did it and this is why, and all, I mean, shoot, let's get this guy out and talk about his story. Some readers may be familiar with LBRY's life story as it was presented in a series on Atavist, along with a book titled The Mastermind, which I'm now ordering, by the way. An excerpt summarizing the publication states, he was a brilliant programmer and a vicious cartel boss who became a prized U.S. government asset. Apart from LBRY's life as a cartel boss, he was also a brilliant programmer who created E4M, an open source free Windows disk encryption software program. An open source free. It was free. Well, I mean, that's good. In 1999. As well, he is also suspected to be the creator of the open source TrueCrypt disk. This he has an open source mindset. I mean, he's already developing software that he's basically just releasing to the world. As well, he is also suspected to be the creator of the open source TrueCrypt disk cryptography package, which is based on E4M's code. How did a man of this nature, with an extensive criminal background and some impressive programming contributions under his belt, come to be tied to Craig Wright's court case and suspected to be Satoshi Nakamoto? Before I go deeper, who the hell wrote this? Because whoever put this together deserves some serious... Jeremy Wall. Okay. Invest in blockchain. I don't know if Jeremy Wall wrote this or he reprinted it. I don't know, but I want to find out because this dude deserves some serious cred. 208 people are about to learn. 208 people live right now learning who's Satoshi Nakamoto. He's the real one. Yes, I think this guy is the real freaking deal. I really, 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 really do. Never before have I thought this, but I'm telling you, by the time we get to the end of this, you're going to be like, holy shit, this is Satoshi Nakamoto. The dude's in prison, probably for life, which is why nobody can access the million Bitcoin he's had locked up. Craig Wright is apparently trying to hack into it from what this thing reads. I'll get there. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. The Kingpin versus Wright lawsuit and ties pointing to Polo. Self-proclaimed Satoshi Craig Wright is being sued by the Kingpin family on accusations that Wright defrauded and stole over $11 billion worth of Bitcoin and hard drives from the now deceased Dave Kingpin, a noted computer forensic expert who's suspected by some to be Satoshi Nakamoto. Wright and Kingpin were business partners until Kingpin died in 2013. The lawsuit that's unfolding in Florida courts has been filed with bizarre theories, misdirections, forgeries, and mistruths, which were often presented by the defendant, Dr. Wright. Among the bizarre things brought forth by Wright is Document 187, Dr. Craig Wright's motion for protective order. According to Wright, some of the evidence that supports he is Satoshi and that the $11 billion worth of Bitcoins is his own includes sensitive information about his ties to criminals and involvement in their apprehension and incarceration. Therefore, Document 187 has been redacted so that the criminals included in the document would not learn of Wright's involvement with their arrest and seek repercussions against him. However, unfortunately for Wright, whoever was redacting the document failed to black out one of the corresponding footnotes that identifies the criminal kingpin in question, Paul LBRY. As seen in the footnote above, a partial URL is visible that leads to a Daily Mail article that calls LBRY a real-life Bond villain behind a cocaine and gun empire spanning 4 continents who's now turned super snitch. Also, the unredacted footnote clearly contains a link to Polaroid's Wikipedia page indicating that LBRY may very well be one of the criminals that Wright is afraid of repercussions from, as he should be. When you read up on this dude, you're going to like, oh, yeah, I'd be scared too. If I were Craig Wright, I'd probably shut the hell up, go into hiding, and never open my mouth again, and maybe get some reconstructive surgery and a new ID with all that money he's been stealing, allegedly stealing, whatever the hell, whatever he's doing. It just sounds like bad things follow the people that might be connected to him, and somehow he's managing to get access to their stuff. The ultimate theory that Polaroid is Satoshi Nakamoto and Craig Wright's role in all of it. While the public release of Document 187 is now being suggested that Polaroid may be Satoshi Nakamoto and that Wright is in possession of encrypted hard drives containing LBRY's stash of the famously stationary 1 million Bitcoins. How does Craig Wright, David Kingpin, and Polaroid all fit into this perplexing conspiracy theory? Per Document 187 and the unredacted information about LBRY, there is a strong assumption that LBRY is the unnamed individual that Wright talks about in the document. Therefore, information outlaid in the document, combined with some theorization, suggests that Wright was an employee of LBRY and also an informant who helped bring him down in 2012. Oh my God. The only thing that I kind of have to wonder though, like, this dude was a straight up international kingpin. And regardless of whether or not he apparently, I guess he snitched on some of his assassins or whatever, I'm pretty sure money talks. And even from prison, he could have already had Craig Wright like disappeared. I'm sure. Like, I don't see how that, if this is true, I don't even know how Craig Wright, if this is all true, why would Craig Wright be so boisterous, loud, and proud? I mean, obviously one of these guys is dead. One of them's in prison, but this guy, people run shit all the time from inside prison cells, man. Don't kid yourself. Following this presumed tale of events, one anonymous Redditor suggests that Wright and his longtime friend and business partner, David Kleeman, managed to get their hands on LBRY's encrypted hard drives that hold 1 million Bitcoins. So David Kleeman, who's now gone, who died, and Wright apparently got their hands on LBRY's encrypted hard drives. However, unfortunately for Wright, all of LBRY's coins are locked away in secure TrueCrypt volumes. The cryptography encryption software is suspected to be developed by LBRY. Wright has spent years trying to track these hard drives, but with no success, which is why he has yet to prove he is Satoshi. What does he have to fear other than like somebody clipping him with a pattern on his chest or one to the back of the ear? I mean, like, if everybody's either dead or in prison, he could effectively go. If he could unlock this, then everybody would in fact then believe he was Satoshi. And what is LBRY going to do? I mean, he can't really defend himself. Man, this is just crazy. And it gets deeper. I'm telling you, we're not done. Adding to the conspiracy theory, Wright's close friend, Calvin Ayre, has set up warehouses of computers to try and crack the encrypted hard drive's code, disguising them as a cryptocurrency mining farm, meaning his mining activity is simply a front to make these massive data centers look legitimate. Therefore, according to this bewildering yet entirely possible theory, the reason Wright is setting himself up as the real Satoshi is so when he finally cracks the encrypted hard drives and gains access to the 1 million Bitcoins, he can attempt to legitimately sell them off. I'm not sure what this was. This looks like an email. I have files of Dave's that I cannot access now. These are TrueCrypt partitions. We held backups for the other, but no passwords. I cannot access these. If I cannot find a key or a password on these, I do not believe that I can on yours. Dave was smarter than I was in some ways. He broke his wallets into many 50 Bitcoin size addresses. I left several large addresses that are not easy to move without making the world notice. Dave estate is only worth 12 million if you want to cash out right now. If you stay, you get the value and the shares. I will list these in coming years, and then they are worth more. This is another document. Oh, this is a case file document. There is a trust, as I noted. Less than 200,000 Bitcoin remain. We need 100,000 to make the bank ideal work. I cannot touch these yet, even if I want to. And right now, I do. That stated, I will not move more now in any event. Dave held more and Mt. Gox held some. I see both these sources as lost. Dave's drives are a one-day possible. Each year, it is possible to crack more than double the key length that was previously possible. What I know of Dave's passwords places them at around 80 bits. We can expect them to be worth trying to crack in 10 to 12 years. Spending the next 5 years on this is going to cover 5 to 10% of the possibilities at a large cost. This is how crypto works. Oh my God. I mean, is anybody else blown by this yet? I mean, seriously. The image above is from a document in the Kleeman versus Wright case and presents claims from Wright, where he states that he's in possession of Kleeman's TrueCrypt files that contain his stored Bitcoin. According to Wright, it may be possible to crack the code within 5 to 10 years. All in all, it has been speculated that the TrueCrypt files Wright is in possession of are not Kleeman, but in fact LBRY's. We understand that this is a lot to take in, and you probably have many doubts and many questions, which is completely understandable. This is a perplexing theory, but upon closer inspection, there are a lot of parallels between LBRY and what is known about Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, things can get interesting here too. Strong parallels. Apart from the allegations of Wright's association with LBRY, there are numerous curious coincidences that how is there not any big federal investigation into Craig Wright? Personally, a lot of this stuff could likely be put to bed. I mean, and I'm sure that if any of this is true, wouldn't the government know? If LBRY is a DEA snitch or an insider or whatever, how would the government not know all of this? And how would the government not know about Wright's involved? I mean, they likely know all of this and more than we will ever know publicly. I have to assume that. For all we know, no, I mean, okay. So Paul LBRY's alias Solotshi called her LBRY. In one of the many passports LBRY owned, he goes by the name Solotshi, which sounds extremely similar to Satoshi. LBRY is a brilliant programmer and familiar with C++, and so is Satoshi. Before LBRY was known to be involved in an array of criminal endeavors, he was a brilliant programmer with an obsession for cryptography and privacy. As previously mentioned, in 1997, he began working on E4M, encryption for the masses, which is software capable of encrypting entire disks, with an adoption for plausible deniability, denying the existence of an encrypted volume. Moreover, LBRY published a kind of manifesto that expresses ideals strikingly similar to those of Satoshi Nakamoto, as explained in Wikipedia. This is quoted. In the politics section of the E4M website, LBRY published a kind of manifesto stating that governments are increasingly relying on electronic data gathering, citing projects such as Echelon, linked to the 5 nation states, which would become known as the 5 Eyes. More than a decade later, he stated that encryption is the only way to preserve civil liberties. At the end of LBRY's manifesto, he states, strong encryption is the mechanism with which to combine these intrusions, preserve your rights, and guarantee your freedoms into the information age and beyond. LBRY is suspected to have developed TrueCrypt, the encryption software protecting his billions. Satoshi Nakamoto's 1 million bitcoins are allegedly locked away in secure TrueCrypt volumes, encryption software that's based on E4M's code. LBRY is highly suspected to have been a part of a team of anonymous developers called the TrueCrypt team. This suspicion is compelling because some of LBRY's former colleagues believed he had worked on it, but they couldn't find any corroborating evidence, so it still remains a mystery. All in all, if anyone could have hidden wallets containing 1 million Bitcoin, it would have been the creator of disk encryption software TrueCrypt. Satoshi's disappearance lines up with LBRY's new endeavors. Satoshi disappeared in early 2011 to move on to other things. Around the same time, LBRY transitioned from his field of software development to cartel boss. During this time, he experienced disruptions with his illegal global pharmaceutical business, RX Limited, when the US government and the DEA restricted distribution. Around 2011, LBRY began to disappear for long periods of time, with none of his employees knowing his whereabouts. As US authorities were closing in on him, LBRY took up temporary residence in Rio de Janeiro and planned his move there. This is just crazy, folks. A curious post from 2002, 7 years before Bitcoin was created, may have been written by LBRY. In a forum post from is this a direct link to it? Is that you, Satoshi? That was 5 years ago. So too old to reply. Is this it? 5 years ago. That would be 2014. Unless somebody reposted it. I have this idea. See, this is 5 years ago. I don't understand what in a forum post from 2002. Am I missing something? So this doesn't make any sense. I have this idea of a future in virtual peer-to-peer banking, a kind of decentralized and secure system. Gone would be the times that governments and banks can track and interfere with our money transfers, or even interfere with the total amount of money on Earth. My envisioned system would have fixed the total amount of money. But each money unit, say virtual coin, is divisible indefinitely. So a kind of deflation would replace inflation. The total value of the money in the world would be a fixed number. It poses no problem for liquidity because the currency can be divided anytime. However, many people will not spend their money much because its value will increase often. Other problems raised in the areas of security, malicious use, and how to come towards such system from current systems. These are just ideas. I like to hear comments about net resources on this subject. It's long been speculated that Satoshi himself wrote this post before actually creating Bitcoin 7 years later. Even more interesting, the IP address of the author has supposedly been traced to the Netherlands, a country where LBRY is known to have once lived. More parallels. Both were wary of authority. LBRY expressed this in his E4M manifesto, and Satoshi expressed this in his Bitcoin white paper. Both had an interest in online gambling. LBRY is known to have participated in online gambling activities, and Bitcoin's initial code had a poker client included. Both understand that a new digital payment system was needed to improve upon the difficulties of traditional payment systems. LBRY dealt with clunky online payments in his online prescription drug market, and Satoshi expressed understanding of payments in the Bitcoin white paper. Both use similar spelling and language, analyze, color, basically like kind of a UK. That's how people in the UK, I think, spell things. Defense, color. LBRY was a multi-millionaire, if not billionaire, and as such, wouldn't have needed to cash out his Bitcoin once the price began rising. Is Paul Solotshi Calder Satoshi Nakamoto? Despite all of the surface evidence that suggests LBRY could be Satoshi Nakamoto, there are still reasons to believe this is not the case. For example, in 2009, when Satoshi was refining Bitcoin, LBRY was already establishing himself as a cartel boss, also, and is known to have been drug smuggling and gun running. How would Satoshi be able to do all of this while also starting a forum and answering noobs' questions about Bitcoin? Hobby. I mean, I totally see why this could be possible. Just because he was doing all of these huge things doesn't mean he doesn't have time at night to sit around and shoot the shit on the interwebs. Therefore, one could argue that Wright's claim to an association with LBRY are completely fabrication in an effort to show he was connected with the origins of Bitcoin. I don't think so. Why would you tie yourself to an international, like, cartel kingpin to try and make a point? I wouldn't put somebody like that on blast. After all, Wright doesn't have the best reputation in the crypto space, and few, aside from Calvin Ayre, believe a word he says, including claims that he created Bitcoin and is Satoshi Nakamoto. Therefore, everything Wright says must be rigorously fact-checked and treated with caution. However, if Wright's dubious connection with LBRY is true and Solotshi is in fact Satoshi, it would be one of the most incredible stories ever told, and Quentin Tarantino would already be jumping on the film rights. I'm speechless. Okay, that post was saved, screenshotted in 2007. Gotcha. Wow. Wow. I don't know what to say other than leave your comments. Leave your comments. Like the video if you dug it. I mean, how did Craig Wright get the hard drives? Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's still some questions. Crow, get to the crypto news already. That is the crypto news. How did Craig Wright get the hard drives? Sounds too good to be someone's BS story. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. And that stuff adds up. I mean, the mindset of LBRY. where he was in his head. I mean, you're talking about a freaking genius. And they're like, well, how could somebody... It's like, how could somebody that's managing this giant cartel also be focused on making forum posts to noobs' questions? Well, that's nothing for somebody like him. He's probably processing and calculating everything a million times a second faster than any of the rest of us are. And wouldn't you? It's like, that's like saying like, oh, well, if you work too many hours during the day, how do you have time to check in on your child? You know what I'm saying? Or to read books that explain how to change diapers. Like it doesn't. Crow, try and get an interview with that guy. I want to know more. Yeah, they are definitely onto something. Just started following you. Love the tone-based comment about being humble. Yeah. And it's funny because I did catch a more recent video, and I don't know if somebody like clued him in on my comments or what, but he seemed a little bit more humble recently in some of his videos. Hey, Jason, how's it hanging, dude? It's hanging low and to the right. Just kidding. Maybe is made to try and make prices go down again. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, let's face the facts. I guess that's a good question, right? If we were to, absolutely, no, I'm not Jewish. I'm too tall to be Jewish. And my hair's too straight. I have some Jewish friends, though. I wouldn't have any problem at all being Jewish because most of the Jewish people I know have lots of money and own like lots of companies. Jason, when is the penciled in date for the interview with Charles Hoskinson? We're looking at mid-June. I think we're wanting to do something around the testnet launch. Oh, wait a minute. What do you think of ADA? Big news on 3 companies being built on Cardano blockchain should be out June 10th. I guess Charles and I will have to discuss that, won't we? Leroy is dead now? No, I don't think so. I think he's in prison. I think he's potentially doing life in prison right now. Yeah. All right. 32 minutes. I got through it all. Leave your comments in the comments below. I want to read them. I want to discuss this. Anything else anybody digs up, post them in the comments. I want to see what you guys can come up with. Let's follow this rabbit hole a little bit. Let's find out, is this guy legit? Is he Satoshi Nakamoto? Is this Kingpin the creator of Bitcoin? This international cartel genius programmer? To me, it sounds pretty good, and it sounds like it's very much likely. What Craig Wright is doing, I don't know, man. If this story is true, what Craig Wright is doing is dangerous. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know what to think of it, but I think it all sounds pretty legit if you ask me. So let me know what your thoughts are. Make sure you join me. Follow me on Instagram, Real Crypto Crow. I'm really making an effort to try and pump that up. And I'm going to start posting some pretty exclusive stuff on there as my numbers rise. And as always, Jason Appleton. I'm going to start posting little things about some of my favorite projects. Some are going to go to Twitter. Some are going to go to Instagram. So if you want to know what I'm buying, what I'm doing, I'm basically going to posting pictures of it on my social medias here very soon. So until next time, crow your coins. See you again.